It was a calm spring morning in Laredo, Texas, when police were called to Father McNabo Park, a quiet stretch of grassland near the Rio Grande. What they found there would shake the community to its core. A Border Patrol supervisor, one of their own, stood among officers, claiming he'd discovered the bodies of a woman and a small child. What no one yet realized was that the man standing before them was the killer.
28-year-old Ronald Anthony Burgos-Aviles, border supervisor patrol agent, called 911 on Monday, claiming to have discovered a body near Father McNabo Park.
Yesterday, we received a call at the 911 center requesting an ambulance to the scene south of the Father McNabo Park, where a female victim, was found with lacerations to her head.
When the officers arrived at the scene of the event, not only were they able to identify the body of 27-year-old Grizelda Hernandez, but they also discovered the body of her 1-year-old son, Dominic Alexander Hernandez.
We visited a home where we hope to find more information on the victim, that in fact they revealed the name of the victim and the name of the suspect. So this happened within the first hours of the investigation.
The bodies of the two were discovered near Bristol Road, not too far from Father McNabo Park. And according to the police department, the remains of the mother and child showed visible signs of aggression.
We are cooperating fully with their investigation. It's still in the very initial phases, so all of the information that pertains to the investigation itself right now is still being withheld pending the outcome of the investigation.
28-year-old Ronald Anthony Burgos-Aviles, who had been an agent with Border Patrol for 9 years, is in custody at the Webb County Jail without bond. And according to LPD, it was confirmed that the victim and Burgos-Aviles had a romantic relationship, although it's still unknown if he is the father of the 1-year-old child.
You hear about these cases happening somewhere else, but never home. This is the first of such cases that I'm seeing, and it is a terrible day it's a bad day for law enforcement in general.
This is the story of Ronald Burgos-Aviles, a respected Border Patrol officer whose secret life led to one of the most shocking double murders in Laredo's history: the killing of his mistress Grizelda Hernandez and their 1-year-old son, Dominic. Ronald Burgos-Aviles had built a good reputation in his field. Colleagues described him as smart, serious, and ambitious, the kind of man who took pride in his uniform. But behind that professional image was a carefully hidden secret. He was having an affair with a young woman named Grizelda Hernandez. Grizelda, only 27, was kind-hearted and devoted to her son, Dominic. She'd met Ronald through mutual friends, and for a time their relationship felt exciting and full of possibility. But that excitement soon turned complicated. Ronald was married, and his affair with Grizelda threatened to expose a double life he'd worked hard to conceal. According to text messages later revealed in court, Grizelda wanted Ronald to acknowledge Dominic as his son. She wanted support, and more importantly, honesty. Friends later said she believed Ronald would eventually do the right thing. She trusted him, one close friend recalled. She didn't think he was capable of hurting anyone. But by early 2018, that trust began to fade. Ronald was under increasing pressure, from his job, his marriage, and now from a relationship he could no longer control. On April 9, 2018, Ronald arranged to meet Grizelda and Dominic. That morning, she texted a friend, saying she'd be out for a bit but would return soon. She never did. Later that day, Ronald walked into Laredo Police Headquarters wearing his Border Patrol uniform. He told officers he'd found 2 bodies at a nearby park and wanted to report it. Investigators were immediately suspicious. Why would a federal officer find a double homicide and not call it in from the scene? When police arrived at Father McNabo Park, their worst fears were confirmed. There, among the brush and tall grass, lay the bodies of Grizelda Hernandez and her baby Dominic. As officers cordoned off the area, Ronald lingered nearby, watching. One investigator later testified that he seemed nervous but oddly calm. It didn't take long before suspicion turned his way. Detectives began piecing together the timeline. Surveillance cameras placed Ronald's vehicle near the park around the same time Grizelda and Dominic were last seen alive. His cell phone data matched the same location. When confronted with the evidence, Ronald claimed he was there earlier in the day, but couldn't explain why his phone records and GPS contradicted him. Inside his vehicle, investigators found traces of mud that matched the park's soil. Later, DNA evidence and phone records would close the gap even tighter. Prosecutors argued that Ronald had lured Grizelda and Dominic to the park under the guise of spending time together, then killed them in a fit of rage, fearing that his affair and secret child would destroy his career and marriage. In one chilling courtroom statement, prosecutors described it as an act of pure desperation, a man killing the evidence of his own double life.
They're accused of killing his alleged lover and her baby. It's a case out of Laredo impacting not only the Border Patrol family, but law enforcement across the country. Agent Ronald Anthony Burgos is accused of killing 27-year-old Grizelda Hernandez and her 1-year-old son Dominic. Several witnesses took the stand Monday. The most powerful testimony came from a lead detective who says Grizelda suffered 30 stab wounds to her neck, face, and shoulder area. The 1-year-old baby reportedly died from stab wounds to his heart and neck. The court also heard from an internal affairs agent who spoke about findings, evidence in Burgos' office. The agent claims he found a folder containing 2 letters from the Attorney General's office for Burgos to pay child support to the victim, Grizelda Hernandez.
We believe that Mr. Burgos is a risk of flight, and he's also a danger to the community. So we're asking that his bond be denied and that he be made to stay in Webb County Jail until his case goes to trial.
Prosecutors described it as an act of pure desperation, a man killing the evidence of his own double life. The trial of Ronald Burgos-Aviles began in 2023, nearly 5 years after the murders. The case drew national attention, not just because of who he was, but because of the sheer brutality of what he was accused of doing. During the trial, jurors saw texts between Ronald and Grizelda. In one message, she pleaded for him to help with Dominic. In another, she hinted at telling his wife the truth. The prosecution painted Ronald as a man who valued his image more than human life. He wore the badge by day, one attorney said, and hid behind it by night. Ronald took the stand in his own defense, something few defendants in murder trials dare to do. He insisted he didn't kill them, suggesting someone else may have followed Grizelda to the park. But jurors weren't convinced. After days of testimony and hours of deliberation, the verdict was read: guilty on both counts of capital murder. In May 2023, Ronald Burgos-Aviles was sentenced to death for the murders of Grizelda Hernandez and Dominic. As the sentence was read, family members of the victims wept quietly in the courtroom. For many, justice had been served, but it brought little comfort. Grizelda's friends described her as a beautiful soul who just wanted love and honesty. Dominic, only a baby, would never have the chance to grow up. As for Ronald, the man once trusted to protect the border became a symbol of betrayal and hypocrisy, a chilling reminder that evil can sometimes hide behind authority. The murders of Grizelda Hernandez and little Dominic shocked Laredo, not only for their tragedy but because of who committed them. A man sworn to protect and serve chose instead to destroy the very people who trusted him most. If you found this story as haunting as I did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. It helps the channel grow and keeps these stories alive. And tell me in the comments, what do you think drove Ronald Burgos-Aviles to commit such an unthinkable act? Was it fear, pride, or something even darker? Until next time, stay safe and remember, sometimes the most dangerous secrets are the ones hidden in plain sight. Thanks for watching True Crimes of the Dirty South.